I'm working on the cosmetics now, cleaning up and polishing inside that hole, doing the grip a bit more, taking out the tool marks. But even at this late stage you can still see errors, glaring errors. Now hopefully you'll see that. Running my fingers along, that's a thin point. And putting the verniers on, the verniers will slip on there. As I try and go towards the tip, they jam up there and they don't become free until this point. So we've got this 2 or 3 inches that is thicker than this point. So this is a weak point. There's no reason to have this any thicker. It's not going to be doing anything, it's just going to be concentrating stress here. So I'll just ease that off. It's not a lot, but to me that sticks out like a sore thumb. Well, why didn't I see it before? Yeah, all the endless checking and fiddling and feeling and looking. There's always still something you can do on a bow. You know, there's always slightly thick points where you say, oh, well, I've left that a little bit thicker because of a knot or this, that or the other. And yes, I've left that thicker because of the knot, and that a little bit thicker because of the knot, but there's no reason for that bit in between. If you can spread the stress evenly along the whole bow, it's all a lot less likely to explode. But it is going to look gorgeous. I've been cleaning that hole out. I've got a length of silicone tube and wrapped some sandpaper around it just to sort of get in there, and it's had a touch of Danish oil, just bring out the colour in there. That's going to look absolutely gorgeous when it's done. Got to tidy up all this sapwood and the growth rings around here, and this nice little sort of V notch. That's going to look really cute, sort of heart-shaped effect. Now it's just a few seconds with the cabinet rasp. Still slightly tight, just where this first knot is. But by the time I've scraped out those tool marks, that'll be alright. Attention to detail. You know, it's easy to say, well, it's not going to make much difference, but you might as well get it right. Yeah, now if I, that was the thin point. If I slide the verniers along, snags there just a tiny bit, just either side of this slight knot, but at least it's clear there now, and it will actually ride over there. I could still possibly take a whisker more off there, but you can see the little islands of grain. They can be a good guide, but they can also be deceptive. It's probably just that little pin it's snagging on. It's easy to think, well, it's tight. It's not tight this side, but it's tight this side. I think it is. It's just that pin's probably raised a whisker. I'll just touch that with me. Touch that with me big half round. So it's only a couple of strokes of a file. Sometimes that's all it needs. We're not talking about removing a lot of wood. There we are, just about goes over there. So by the time I've touched that with the scraper, just taking out that bit of tool mark or sandpaper or whatever will be there. More little adjustments. The grip on this looked rather bulky. And it is, it's bulkier than Twister. But measuring Twister, this was about 1/4 inch deeper. Well, if you think about it, that means it's sitting 1/4 inch higher on the tiller. The string is 1/4 inch closer to the belly here. So by taking that 1/4 inch off, or most of it, I've gained 1/4 inch of brace height, and also 1/4 inch of draw length, because you measure the draw length from there. So it sounds sort of a bit daft, but just by slimming the grip, you're changing what the bow's doing. And all these little changes, all these little bits of cleaning up and work, they're all going to be dropping the poundage of whisker. So I'll be getting closer and closer to my 45 rather than being a bit over it. This knot here, I'll probably just put some super glue in it to, you know, sort of seal it and make it look nice, leave it as a feature. I don't want to start trying to drill that out or anything. I've virtually finished the Yew Primitive. It's had about 35 arrows through it. Shot it on Sunday, performed beautifully. Arrows came out dead straight, no waggle. Saw the spin kick in. There's still some tool marks. It's only had the first sanding and coat of Danish oil, so it needs a bit more. I was very pleased with the arrow pass. I was expecting to have to tweak that, but that's lovely. The knot looks absolutely gorgeous. All been cleaned and polished inside. All knocks buffed up, and two of the knots that were filled, that one's completely disappeared and that one's just got a tiny bit showing. Overall, the lower limb's still got that little hint of reflex and the upper tiny bit of deflex, but it's taken very little set, if any. So let's string it and shoot it. I'll just grab my tab. Now these arrows are 28 to about there. So I normally draw 27 when I'm field shooting. And this string's just a string I've borrowed or something else. So I should be able to take the arrow right back so it's hanging off the end of the bow. There we are, nice full draw, straight through the garage door. I was too busy on holding a full draw and trying to hit the target. Whoops. I hope you heard that bang. That's another hole in the garage door to repair. That's in the middle of the target. I'm a very bad man. Yes, it's interesting, people think that I've got a huge draw because it looks like 32 or something. Like I said, these arrows are only 28. It's very deceptive. A lot of people think they've got a lot longer draw than they have. If I draw it sort of target style, see it's a lot shorter. That'll do. Let's go and look at the arrow through the garage door, shall we, boys and girls? I'll blame it on Emily Cat. Now, I don't normally put up my arrow stop net because I never miss. But on this occasion, it's only a £50 bow with a field pile. But there you go, buff. I'm a bad man. A very, very bad man.